You may be seated. As you're seated, let me show you what we just read. Because David is writing the 132nd Psalm to explain his habits. And you just stay there with me because I want to show you a few points that you might want to mark or jot. It records how David started walking with the Lord as a young boy. And what I see there are his spiritual secrets, kind of those choices he made as a young man, little things, little choices, incremental choices we make become big later in life if they're little and we make them right now. Just like the little boy that just says, I'm going to do one more push-up every day. And he does one, and then two, and then three, and then four. And all of a sudden, that little choice starts affecting his body in a development of muscles. And it's just like the person that says, I'm going to just do one little expansion of what I know. I'm going to study one topic a little bit more. And soon they become a master of that topic by doing. Well, David made spiritual little incremental choices. And here they are. The first one is, he says in verses 3 through 5, that he's going to put God ahead of his own comfort. And what he says is, he is going to make a holy habit for God. And that holy habit, look at verse 3, surely I'll not go into the chamber of my house, that means go to my room, or to the comfort of my bed, I'm not going to go to sleep. Verse 4, and give sleep to my eyes, or slumber to my eyelids, until I find a place for the Lord. Now, half the scholars believe this is written specifically of David thinking of his life, but looking to bring the ark home. Remember, the ark had stayed in Kiriath Yearim, where the Philistines had put it on a cart and sent it back after they captured it in the time of Samuel. It basically had stayed there. And the ark had stayed in that border town. And David, when he became king, wanted to make a place for it. And you remember he got a little overexcited and put it on a cart like the Philistines, and Uzzah touched it and God killed him. And then a year went by, and then he read how you're supposed to bring it, and he brought the ark to Jerusalem the right way. This psalm was probably written at that time. That's why he mentions a dwelling place for the mighty one of Jacob in verse 5. But he intermingles it with his own personal choices he made. And what he said is, just like I'm looking, as he did in 2 Samuel 6, for a place to park the ark, I have found a place for God. I'm making a holy habit. God ahead of my comfort. I'm going to make time for God. That was his first spiritual secret. When we talk about David, that's talked about more than anybody else, 140 plus chapters in the Bible, what was the essence of his life that made him a man after God's own heart? Here's the first secret of his life. He said, I won't go to bed until I've had time to commune with God. I'm not going to do what comforts my body and do the things I want to do until I've made a place in my day for the Holy One, for God himself. Now that's a very simple little habit. Have you ever made that habit? Is that in your life? Have you ever said that I'm not going to plop down in my easy chair and turn on the television and go into neutral and just let it all just fly by me until I make a place for God? I'm not going to sit there and read how many people got murdered last night in Tulsa or wherever, or how everything is going in the business world until I make a place for God. There were just as many interesting things to do back then, 3,000 years ago, as there are today. And what David says in verses 3, 4, and 5 is, I am going to put God ahead of my comforts. And without regular, consistent, disciplined time in the Word of God, you and I will not grow. We will not cultivate the mind of Christ. And David said, I am going to spend time alone with God, and I will never amount to anything for eternity if I don't. And he made that little choice.